Thank you so much, Paul. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lori Shepard. I am speaking on behalf right now of the members of the Yom HaShoah Committee, which is Sharon Glassberg, Raisa Moros, Jennifer Selko, and Ori Zamarit, and myself. And we are just so honored to welcome all of you to this year's Yom HaShoah commemoration. This year's Yom HaShoah commemoration is called Generations After a Community's Promise. The first memorials and commemorations of the Holocaust began almost immediately as the war ended. The first officially recognized Remembrance Day took place in Israel in December of 1949. At that time, the annual memorial was held on the 10th of Tevet, a traditional day of mourning in the Hebrew calendar. Over the next few years, there would be much debate, as is common, on matters of such importance, as to when and how the Holocaust should be remembered and memorialized. Some felt that it should stay as it was on the 10th of Tevet. Others thought it more appropriate for it to fall on the 14th day of Nisan, the day before Passover, which would also encompass the anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Still another date, September 1st, which was the day that the World War II began, was heavily favored. Finally, it was decided with a resolution that it would be on the 27th day of Nisan, a week after Passover and 8 days before the celebration of Israel's independence. And so, in 1951, it officially began. Today, not today, but these days, in Israel, there's a state ceremony held at Yad Vashem, complete with speeches and recitation of prayers. 6 torches are lit to symbolize the more than 6 million lives lost, and flags fly at half-mast. And, of course, there is the air raid siren, which calls everyone to observe 2 minutes of reflection. Of course, while Yom HaShoah began in Israel, it would soon travel to all Jews in the diaspora, and the ceremonies would become unique to each individual community where they were held. This is certainly true here in the United States. For some communities, Yom HaShoah is a religious ceremony, while for others, the commemoration holds a little bit more pomp and pageantry. Some feature emotional testimonies from our living survivors, and still others take on an educational feel with documentary screenings or scholarly presentations. But the one thing that they all share is the importance to the community as a time to come together to memorialize those who were lost to the brutality of the Holocaust and to honor and recognize those who, against all odds, survived and persevered. These folks. Here in Southern Arizona, we have our own traditions. For many years, the community has chosen to come together on the Sunday immediately before Yom HaShoah. And the commemoration has been an eclectic combination of religious ceremony, personal presentations, and every once in a while, a little scholarly. Today, we are gathered under that theme of Generations After, a Community's Promise, to continue our traditions and to create avenues of new expression as well. We begin today's program with Rabbi Sam Kohan leading us in one of those local traditions, the singing of the national anthems of the United States and Israel.
Please rise if you're comfortable standing. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose his broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? You can find the words for Hatikva if you need them on the inside of your program. Kol od balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulfatei mizrach kadima ein lezion Sophia. O love the tikvateinu, hatikva b'shnot alpayim, liyotam choshi be'artzeinu eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim, liyotam choshi be'artzeinu eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. At this time, we'd like to ask Sharon Glassberg and Raisa Morales to come and offer us a loving remembrance.
Thank you, Lori, and thank you, Rabbi Kohan. Primo Levi said, "The greatest act of resistance is to continue living." Indeed, the survivors here with us today and those living who were not able to join us today did just that. In Judaism, we are taught to remember the Sabbath, remember the Exodus. When someone dies, we say, "May their memory be for a blessing," or literally translated, their memory should be an opportunity to bless them. We take this special day observed around the world to remember and bless all who were murdered at the hands of hate. And a special thought goes out to one of our survivors, Bill Kugelman, a blessed memory of whose birthday was today.
Today, here in Tucson, we remember and we bless those survivors of the Shoah who made their home in southern Arizona, but who are no longer with us, including those who died between last Yom HaShoah and today.
please rise if you are able. At this time, we would like to invite members of the second, third, and fourth generation survivors to join second generation survivor Rosie Eilat Khan as she leads us in a Mortar's Kaddish.
You can find this on the back page of your program. Yitgadal, Auschwitz, V'yitkadash, Lodz, Shmei Rabbah, Pomar, V'alma Divrachirute, Babiyar, V'yimloch Malchute, Maidanek, B'chayechon, Uv'yomechon, Birkenau, Ufchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Kovno, B'alma Vizman Kariv V'imru, Amen. Yonowaska. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavorach Leolam Umeil Maya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach, Theresienstadt. Yitpa'ar V'yitroman, Buchenwald. V'yitnaseh V'yithadar, Treblinka. V'yitale V'yitalal, Vilna. Shmei Briachu, Bergen-Belsen, La'ela, Mauthausen, Mikal Barachta V'Shirata, Dachau, Tushbachata V'Nechemata, Minsk, Damiran Bialma, Warsaw, V'Imru, Amen. Yehei Shlema Rabba Mishmaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael, V'Imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael, V'Imru, Amen.
We now welcome Sarah Golan Musman to lead us in El Maleh Rachamim.
I am one of the second generation. My father, Aryeh Gantz, of blessed memory, was a Holocaust survivor. He spent 3 years in Shanovitz, a forced labor camp in Romania. Today I will be chanting a special version of the prayer, El Maleh Rachamim, to commemorate the victims of the Holocaust. They are gone, but never forgotten. El Maleh Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamtzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei HaShechina, Bema'alot Kedoshim Utehorim, Kezohar Harakia, Mazhirim, Et Nishmot Kol Acheinu Bnei Yisrael, Anashim, Nashim V'ataf, Shenitbechu, Shenechneku, Shenisrefu, Veshenirtzechu, Began Eden Tehem Menuchatam, Anna Ba'al Harachamim, הסתירם בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני, אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבם. ונאמר, אמן.
You may be seated. Thank you so much, Sarah. It is so important that we come together to honor the lives and memory of the more than 6 million Jews who were lost to the Holocaust. Admittedly, this time is a time of painful reflection and a remembrance of so much loss. But it is also a time of so much hope and strength found in Yom HaShoah. Because this is also a time for us as a community to honor the survivors of history's darkest hour and to recognize those heroes who found the courage to resist unimaginable oppression. Today, we draw inspiration from our local survivors' lives as we, the members of our strong Southern Arizona community, lift them up with our resolute vows of remembrance and response.
I am Rabbi Stephanie Aaron of Congregation Chaverim. I stand here today in honor of survivors of the Holocaust, Teresa Dolgov from Hungary and Anik Devern from Poland. Remembrance is a guiding principle of my existence. As such, Congregation Chaverim promises to fight anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, Holocaust denial, and all other forms of hatred directed towards the Jewish people in the United States, Israel, and around the world. This is my solemn promise to you.
I am Rabbi Malcolm Cohen of Kolomi Synagogue. I stand here today in honor of survivors of the Holocaust, Wolfgang Helpup from Germany and Misha Koppel from Germany. Kolomi Synagogue promises to keep alive and honor the legacy of the multitudes of our people who perished in the Holocaust.
I am Rabbi Helen Cohn of Congregation Makor Chaim. I stand here today in honor of survivors of the Holocaust, Mary Storina from Belarus and Vladimir Lykovetsky from Ukraine. Congregation Makor Chaim promises to fight every form of discrimination manifest against any religion, nationality, or ethnic group.
I am Dr. Bruce Lynn of Congregation Beit Simcha. I stand here today in honor of survivors of the Holocaust, my friend Sidney Finkel from Poland. Thank you. Okay. I am Dr. Bruce Lynn of Congregation Beit Simcha. I stand here today in honor of survivors of the Holocaust, my friend Sidney Finkel from Poland, Klavdia Molodetska from Ukraine. Congregation Beit Simcha promises to actively participate in the strengthening of Jewish life in the diaspora and in Israel.
I am Ken Goodman, immediate past chair of Jewish Family and Children's Services of Southern Arizona. I stand here today in honor of survivors of the Holocaust, Robert Varady from Hungary and Willie Halbert from France. Jewish Family and Children's Services of Southern Arizona promises to stand up against religious intolerance and racism where we see it.
I am Hava Leipzig Holzhauer, President and CEO of Jewish Philanthropies of Southern Arizona. I stand here today in honor of Holocaust survivors Rachel Baran of France and Paula Bronstein from the Netherlands. Jewish Philanthropies of Southern Arizona promises to honor the memory of more than 6 million Jews, including 1.5 million children, who were murdered during a campaign of genocide called the Holocaust. We will involve ourselves in Tikkun Olam to build a better world for all members of the human family. This is our promise to you.
I am Keith DeVerne, here on behalf of Rabbi Sarah Metz of Congregation Anshe Israel, who couldn't be here today. I stand here in honor of survivors of the Holocaust, Yulia Janina from Ukraine and Chris Tans from Poland. Congregation Anshe Israel promises to fight anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, and Holocaust denial, and all other forms of hatred directed towards the Jewish people in the United States, Israel, and around the world.
I am Rabbi Yehuda Palgan, Rabbi and Director of Programming at the Tucson Torah Center. I stand here today in honor of Holocaust survivor Simon Katz from Czechoslovakia. The Tucson Torah Center promises to continue to increase our knowledge of our Jewish heritage and to pass on a love of Jewish life and learning to the next generation.
I am Todd Rockoff, President and CEO of the Tucson Jewish Community Center. I stand here today in honors of survivors of the Holocaust, Andrew Schott from the Netherlands and Severin Sperling from Poland. The Tucson JCC promises that we will take shared responsibility to fight the belief that race, religion, disability, or sexuality make someone's life worth less than others. We recognize humanity is still scarred by these beliefs.
I am Martin Reichgott of the Tucson Jewish Museum and Holocaust Center, speaking on behalf of Rabbi Norman Roman of Beth Shalom Temple Center of Green Valley, who could not be here today. I stand here today in honor of survivors of the Holocaust, David Kokin from Russia and Yelizaveta Babinkova from Ukraine. Beth Shalom Temple Center promises to create a world where never again will become a reality for the Jewish people and, indeed, for all people.
I'm Johanna Shlomovich, head of school at the Tucson Hebrew Academy. I stand here today in honor of survivors of the Holocaust, Bertie Lefkowitz from the Netherlands and Marie Turim from France. The Tucson Hebrew Academy promises that we will work to educate and assure that future generations understand the causes of the Holocaust and reflect upon its consequences.
I am Ori Tsamirit, Director of Programming and Education at the Tucson Jewish Museum and Holocaust Center. I stand here today in honor of survivors of the Holocaust, Moisei Blitzstein from Ukraine and Lev Kunyavsky from Russia. The Tucson Jewish Museum and Holocaust Center promises to continue to advocate for the Holocaust to have a permanent place in our nation and community's collective memories. We honor the survivors still with us and reaffirm our shared goals of mutual understanding.
I am Jennifer Camano from the University of Arizona Hillel Foundation. I stand here today in honor of Holocaust survivor Valentina Yokorevskaya from Belarus. The University of Arizona Hillel Foundation promises to strengthen our efforts to promote education and research about the Holocaust and other genocides. We will do our utmost to make sure that the lessons of such events are fully understood.
My name is Hetty Foyer, second generation Holocaust survivor. I light this candle on behalf of all the second generation Holocaust survivors. We promise to continue to keep the legacy of our families alive through maintaining their memories and through the telling of their stories.
I am Brittany Ramos, third generation Holocaust survivor, granddaughter of Paul Lecter. I light this candle on behalf of all the third generation Holocaust survivors. We promise to keep the legacy of our families alive and encourage Holocaust remembrance through public commemorations of Yom HaShoah in our community.
I am Andy Schott, son of Andrew Schott. I light this candle with great honor for the righteous among the nations and the liberators, recognizing the sacrifices of those who risk their lives to protect or rescue victims as a touchstone of the human capacity for good in the face of evil.
I'm Avraham Alpert of Congregation Beit Shalom in Tucson. I light this candle in honor of Nadia Garfine from Romania. We promise to continue to spread mitzvot, Torah, ma'asim tovim, and to fight against every enemy of the Jewish people.
Thank you so much to our presenters. Now, all of our presenters and I will say together, as the Tucson Jewish community, we offer our solemn promise to our local living survivors and those who have come before them that in the face of our past trials and our present challenges, we will remember and we will respond. This is our solemn promise to the Jewish people, to those who came before us, to those of our generation, and to those who will follow in future generations. Thank you so much to the community for joining us today for this very special promise. One of the things that we've been able to do today has been, if you'll notice that some of our survivors are wearing headsets, we actually have two translators, Chet and Gulnaz, who are translating everything from English into Russian, so that our survivors who for many years could not engage with Yom HaShoah can today. So we thank those translators very much for that opportunity to make sure that we have all of our survivors engaged in this promise. Thank you so much to all who joined us and everyone whose work made this possible today. We want to thank our funding partner, Jewish Philanthropies of Southern Arizona, the staffs of Jewish and Family Children's Services, the J, and Tucson Jewish Museum and Holocaust Center. Thank you for all that you do every day to ensure that these promises will continue to be promises fulfilled. Jennifer Selko will now offer our closing remarks.
Thank you, Lori. So earlier this morning, I spent some time at the Tucson Botanical Gardens and walked past the memorial to the children of the Holocaust that was donated by Wayne and Amy Goulden family. As I walked past the exhibit featuring ceramic butterflies, I couldn't help but notice the flurrying of butterflies around the gardens. Spring is truly in the air. Butterflies have come to help us memorialize children who perished in the Shoah. Daffodils have also come to be a symbol of meaning and remembering of the Shoah. Daffodils are some of the first flowers that appear in the spring and have a rather short blooming season. These flowers are a symbol of rebirth, new beginnings, and joy. Mark Edelman, the last surviving leader of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, would receive a bouquet of yellow daffodils from an anonymous person on the anniversary of the uprising each year. Edelman would later lay these daffodils during the commemorative ceremony at the monument to the ghetto's heroes. After Edelman's death in 2009, the Poland Museum, which commemorates the history of Polish Jews, decided to continue his tradition. In 2013, a survey was conducted amongst those in Warsaw about important events from Warsaw's history. One of these questions was about the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising of 1943. Had they heard of it? Did the date, April 19th, 1943, mean anything to them? Only 33% of the respondents said they either knew about the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising or knew why that date was significant. So, Eva Budek, the initiator of the first Warsaw Ghetto Uprising campaign in 2013, thought it would be helpful to find a symbol to commemorate the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising to help raise awareness. The yellow flower, the daffodil, which had always been given to Mark Edelman, seemed to be the perfect fit. So, an artist was commissioned and was tasked with creating a flower that would be both aesthetically pleasing and easy to produce. It was important for her to be, for her and the people who received the flowers, who saw the flowers, to be co-creators of the daffodils. Even in the small capacity, the fact that they were closed, the paper daffodils that she created were closed when people received them, and the people had to open them to make them bloom themselves. And that was a very significant opportunity for people to remember their history. Now, every year in Warsaw, in memory of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, paper daffodils line the street in memory of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. I cannot conclude without sharing about Holocaust survivor Shlomo